Keshwanand Prabhu graduated in India in 1999 as a medical doctor from India. He then took training under the British-born spiritual saint, His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Swami of the Hare Krishna movement, and chose to live a life of monk. He took a serious studies of Sanskrit under various scholars and also spent many years studying science, both modern and Vedic. Now, since the last 20 years, he has been conducting seminars and lectures in various colleges and universities in India, as well as a board on various themes such as the Vedic perspective of the world, science locked in the ancient Sanskrit text, science, philosophy and religion, science and God, and many others. Besides Sanskrit, he is also proficient in Hindi, Bengali and Gujarati, and he has therefore researched many spiritual works available in these languages. He is an inspiring speaker, a prolific writer, and has published books both in Hindi and English. Some of his books in English are The Cheaters and the Cheated, Secrets of Yoga, Mighty Efforts, Crazy Ideas, and Science Falls to Explain Life. After many years of labor, he has been initiated a project Vedic Rural College and Research Center, which offer courses to train students in the Vedic sciences, spiritually, yoga, morals, and basic material skills required to live a healthy and spiritual life. The aim being to peacefully pursue the goal of human life to understand the absolute truth God. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So today's class will be given by His Grace Keshwanand Prabhuji on the topic of Journey to Golaka Vrindavan, Session 2. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, are you present on the call?
Yeah, I'm present there. Is my voice audible?
Thank you.
Really?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time, Prabhu, and association to us this morning. Yesterday class was so enlightened, Prabhu. We eagerly waiting for next session. I'll hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, I think I would like to thanks all the devotees who are attending this call.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
And,
Can you be little louder, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Okay, fine. So I'm going to today I'm going to discuss about Journey to Golok Vrindavan, the second session, and first like to offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prajanine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschadeshtarine. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this is part 2 of Journey to Golok Vrindavan. And we were discussing about Akrura yesterday and his prayers. So I'm reading from 10th canto, 38th chapter, and 6th verse onwards. We discussed some verses from Akrura, and I was just mentioning that that how Akrura is a person who is perfect candidate for approaching Vrindavan. So if you want to reach Vrindavan in this life, we must follow Akrura. And also another personality who is to be understood and followed properly. So what about Akrura here? Let's discuss about how he thinks. That was I was mentioning. Entire Bhagavatam is all about how people think and how devotees interact with Krishna. That is Srimad Bhagavatam, by the way. When we read Bhagavatam, we are entering the consciousness of devotees and try to understand what is happening in their consciousness. Of course, it is Krishna conscious movement. So that's when Narottam Das Thakur says, Vichara Koriya Mane, Bhakti Rasa Asvadane. Remember, Vichar means just contemplate on in your mind about what? Madhyastha Bhagavata Puran. That Narottam Das Thakur writes in his book. And he meant in his songs, I think Pratana, and he says, keep Bhagavatam in the center of your lives and read Bhagavatam. Understand how devotees are leading their life, what they are thinking, how they are praying. In fact, we are reading Akrura's prayers, and we're going to analyze those prayers and try to read those prayers and try to understand what experience he's going in his consciousness. And if we can capture that experience of Akrura and also his thinking, feeling and willing, then we'll also be able to attain Gaura Vrindavan, because then Krishna will have mercy on us, just as he had on Akrura. So I'm going to discuss today, I'm going to start from 10th canto, 30th chapter, 6th verse. Okay, so 6th verse, I mentioned yesterday, how Akrura is praying to Krishna. He is praying in a systematic fashion. Every verse which proceeds is a next step, is a step to journey to Golok Vrindavan, and that's what we were discussing yesterday. So just to recap what he said. So I told yesterday that a devotee who is approaching Vrindavan, the first thing in his mind should be that I'm not approaching Vrindavan by my own endeavors. I cannot attain. A devotee thinks like Akrura. Akrura is thinking, how today I'm getting an opportunity to see Krishna. And by the way, this is the entire theme of all prayers. If you read all the prayers of Akrura, he's again and again coming to this point: how I'm able to see Krishna, how Krishna is visible to my eyes, how Krishna, who is worshipped by demigods and who plays with his friends in Vrindavan, who is so rare to approach and achieve, how I'm able to see him. That's the theme of this prayer. So the point is, the idea is, if we want to approach Golok Vrindavan, one undercurrent theme of Akrura's prayers, or one thought in his consciousness, one desire in his soul, is to see Krishna. That desire is important if we want to go back to Golok Vrindavan. Of course, if you don't desire, you don't get. That's all. Finish. If you don't want, then why would Krishna give you? First, we should want. That wanting should be there on our side. Rest Krishna will do. That's all. Entire sadhana, entire practice of devotion is to give birth to that wanting to attain Krishna, that wanting to see Krishna and associate with him. That's all entire sadhana all about. That is what is basically relationship all about. What is the most important thing in relationship? That I want to meet you. That's the most important thing. Other things are corollary. All the talks we do with the person whom we like, all the interactions we do with that person, it's all based on one thing: I want to meet you. I want to be with you. That's the undercurrent. So that's what Akrura has. The only qualification and the qualification of Akrura that Krishna arranges for him to meet him is that he wants to see Krishna. That's the point there. And in Akrura's case, his desire to see Krishna has increased to a point that as soon as he sees lotus feet of Lord Krishna as he's traveling towards Vrindavan, he's again and again becoming unconscious. We read in Krishna Bhagavatam, he's again and again becoming unconscious. He's unable to proceed, and he falls down from his chariot as soon as he sees lotus feet of Krishna, the marks of lotus feet of Krishna on the grounds of Vrindavan, on the transcendental land of Vrindavan. He just falls down and gets unconscious, and then he gets up after some time, and then again he mounts his chariot, again he sees the mark of lotus feet, and again he becomes unconscious. Why? Because he has an expectation. He has this. He has the expectation that today I am going to see Krishna, whom I have been desiring my entire life, but maybe due to some political reasons I couldn't do. But today Krishna himself mercifully has arranged me to see him. Why is arranged for me to see him? Simply because I want to see him. That's the idea there. And why I want to see him? Akrura says in these first 3 verses, because perhaps it is due to blessings of some devotees, either in this life or the previous lives, and certainly it is not due to my own efforts or my own practice of devotion. That's what I was talking about yesterday. At least that has to be understood properly. So whatever we do, our journey to Golok Vrindavan cannot be successful if we do not develop this desire to see Krishna, desire to attain Krishna. Otherwise it's impossible. And that's the proportion you have this desire, the proportion you are near to Vrindavan. Okay, so now we'll proceed. In text 7, in text 6, Akrura is saying now we are trying to enter Akrura's mind as we are proceeding, and we are trying to learn how we should think. Akrura is saying, I'll just read in English. Today all my sinful reactions, this is 10:38:6, have been eradicated. My birth has become worthwhile, since I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, which is on which mystic yogis meditate upon. Mamade amangalam nashtam. Akrura is thinking here that perhaps today, because I'm going to have darshan of Krishna, definitely my all sinful reactions are finished, because my all obstacles are destroyed, because without Krishna's mercy, without destroying all the sinful reactions, you cannot see Krishna. It's impossible. A sinful person cannot see Krishna. A sinful person can walk on the path of devotion. That's okay. That's allowed. He's allowed to enter the devotion. He's allowed to do bhakti, but he cannot see Krishna. That's a perfection of life. And in fact, Muchukund. So when Krishna goes, when Krishna runs from Jarasandha and on the battlefield of Mathura, and he goes to the cave, and there was Muchukund who was sleeping, and then this Kalevan came, and then Kalevan was being burned by the eyes of Muchukund. When he hit or kicked Muchukund, Krishna was hiding behind. We all know the story. And then Muchukund wakes up. He sees Kalevan, and Kalevan breaks up into millions of pieces. He simply bursts up. And then Krishna appears. And then Muchukund, what he says? He says that today I am having your darshan. This means all my sinful reactions are destroyed. Because purity can see purity. And a sinful man can see sinful people. That's all. It's like that. Who you are, you find that. That's all. So if you are lusty, you will find lust in this material world. If you are greedy, you will find greed in this material world. If you are envious, you will find envy in this material world. If you're loving, you will find love in this material world. If you're good, you will find goodness in this material world. That's the law. And Srila Prabhupada used to say, Srila Prabhupada said one Sanskrit verse about that. The concept is this, and this is the same concept. If you're pure, you can see purity. If you're impure, you will see impurity. And that is why people who are not devotees of Krishna, when they see Krishna, they blame him from doing Ras Leela. Or when they see Ram, they blame him for abandoning Sita, because they are impure. And that's why they want to find impurity in Krishna himself. People who are pure, they can see purity in Krishna. Krishna doesn't have any impurity. But what you are, you imagine all those things in that object and then perceive that object. That's how it goes. So Jiva Goswami says here, and Srila Prabhupada also explains in all these prayers, that yes, today actually Akrura is thinking about many qualities of Krishna. Now as we read, we'll see Akrura is speaking something, but he is thinking of many qualities of Krishna. And that's how, if we want to approach Vrindavan, we have to focus on many qualities of Krishna. Our mind and soul should be suffused and infused with so many qualities of Krishna. And here one of the qualities of Krishna is his Aishwarya, his strength. That Akrura is thinking. Now what kind of strength? Krishna has, of course, Krishna's bodily strength. That's one thing, because he can kill any demon. But that's not so interesting to devotee as the strength of his mercy. So Akrura is thinking about strength of his mercy. He's so strong that he can destroy millions and millions of lives of sinful reactions, and then infuse the sublime desire to attain him, and then makes himself to be attained by the devotee. So all along the path on journey to Golok Vrindavan, you might be thinking that you are practicing and you are walking. But when you reach the destination, when you reach to Krishna, Krishna will tell you, you know what, I want to tell you one thing. Actually, you were not walking. I was carrying you on my shoulders. I was carrying you on my lap. And you were thinking you were walking, but actually I was carrying you. That's how it happens. So he is, by the strength of his mercy, he is pulling us. Pull and walking is different. Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, they use his word pull. He's pulling us towards himself. Madhva Sampradaya, they say we are walking towards Vaikuntha. Sri Sampradaya says no. He's pulling us towards Vaikuntha. So what's right? Are we walking or he's pulling? And there's a difference. In pulling, there is a strength of mercy. In walking, there is the efforts of sadhana. And what's correct? The correct philosophy is, of course, we are walking also, and Krishna is pulling also. But his pulling, his mercy, it is much more than efforts, and that is why it is said in an ocean of mercy, a small drop has no value. In an ocean of mercy, a small drop of efforts has no value, and it is to be neglected. That's all. It is to be neglected. And that is why Akrura is here. Akrura is talking about strength of mercy of Lord, through which Krishna has arranged for him to see him. He is thinking of the quality of Aishwarya. Now, Aishwarya here is linked to mercy. Madhurya is always linked to sweetness or love. That's how it goes. When there's Aishwarya Bhav, a devotee is focusing more on mercy. And we can see here, Akrura is more in Aishwarya Bhav when he is approaching Vrindavan. And that's what we have to be. That's what we have to learn from Akrura. It's not more about Madhurya Bhav now. It is about Aishwarya. We have to meditate more on mercy of Krishna rather than his love. Because in a conditioned state, mercy is more valuable as a sadhakas for us to meditate than love. And if we keep on doing that, then slowly and gradually we'll understand the value of love also. Now, Akrura continues. he was thinking of strength of mercy, and now he's thinking of actually of so not only the strength of mercy, but also the Krishna's intelligence to actually give us mercy. It's very difficult to give mercy to somebody, by the way. It might seem easy. Okay, Krishna is so merciful, and it's so nice that he'll help us. But it's nice for us, but it's difficult for Krishna. That's one thing. To help, and the most difficult thing in this world is to help anybody. And even more difficult is to help yourself. That's how it goes. It's very easy to not to help somebody. That is why people choose that path. But if you want to help somebody, that's difficult because you have to sacrifice your own time and things. So Krishna is like that. Krishna, Akrura is overwhelmed by his, not only mercy, but by his love. Because to extend mercy to anybody, you need love. And the nature of love is sacrifice. So Akrura is thinking, Krishna is thinking about me. He's planning. He might be planning how to bring me back to him. And that's how a devotee thinks. That yes, Krishna is having mercy on me. But the point is, he is thinking. He's planning there. He's sitting and planning how to get so many devotees back to him. And for every devotee, there's a different plan, because every devotee is a living entity, and it's a different living entity. It's not Mayavad. If it was Mayavad, then the job would have been easy for Krishna, because all are same. But we are not same. We have different desires, different purposes, different ideas, different sinful reactions. He has to plan, and also different degrees of free will, different degrees of independence. So Akrura is thinking how expert Krishna is in this verse. So in the next verse, Akrura says, 7th verse, indeed today King Kamsa has shown me extreme mercy by sending me to see the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Now, if you read the verse properly, Acharya's comment that actually Akrura is thinking how it is blessings of Kamsa that I may be able to achieve Krishna. That actually Akrura is saying, actually it's not Kamsa basically. It's through Kamsa Krishna is acting. And you see, sometimes Krishna can act through demons also. It's not necessary that Krishna will bless you through devotees. It's not necessary. Krishna can bless you through demons. That's all. Here, Prabhupada writes in the purport. Prabhupada writes, Akrura noticed how ironic it was that envious demonic Kamsa has given Akrura an extraordinary blessings by sending him to see the Supreme Lord. You see the point? So Krishna has extended his blessings to Akrura through Kamsa. And that's interesting. Akrura is thinking about this quality of Krishna now. This is another quality of Krishna. See, Akrura is not thinking about general qualities of God. It's not happening here, if you note here. Akrura is not thinking simply about mercy. He's thinking about the strength of mercy. Akrura is not just thinking about how Krishna gives mercy to his devotee. He is thinking how Krishna plans to give mercy. It is very specific and very focused prayers on Krishna, and that's why if we want to go to Golok Vrindavan, we not only have to meditate on general qualities of Krishna, it will come later. We have to meditate on specific qualities of Krishna. It should be very focused and very detailed. Otherwise, it becomes very general understanding as devotees have, and it doesn't help us to focus and appreciate Krishna as he is. Because if you say Krishna is merciful and is intelligent, it doesn't really make an impact on our heart and our souls. What makes an impact is how he extends that mercy, and nobody else is able to extend mercy in a way how Krishna does. So you see, Krishna is not only intelligent, but he's very creative. And you see here, he's giving blessings through a demon. How do you understand that? Actually, Akrura himself is puzzled that why Krishna has arranged for me to meet him through Kamsa. Why is that? Krishna often does these kind of things. Nobody can understand God's action, why he does, when he does, how he does. We are not supposed to understand it, but we are supposed to appreciate and glorify it. If you can understand, you are extremely fortunate and the extraordinary blessings of Lord and devotees. Even if you cannot, at least you can marvel and be charmed at the qualities of Krishna. So the point is, if you want to go back to Golok Vrindavan, Apurva is teaching us that we should not pre-assume anything that Krishna will do. Krishna will take me go back to Golok Vrindavan in this way. No, that will not happen. Krishna has his own plans, and he will do in his own way. No matter you desire whatever you desire, no matter how much you eat, no matter how much you desire that it should happen in this way, it will never happen. Whatever Krishna wants, that's going to happen, and that will happen. That's all. And Krishna sometimes acts in a way which is very contradictory, in which we think he should not have done, but he will do that because he knows why he's doing that. Actually, why Krishna used Kamsa to give to ask Akrura to go to Vrindavan? Why he made Kamsa an instrument in his plan? In his plan that his devotee meets him, he's making Kamsa as an instrument there. Why? Well, some acharyas comment that because Krishna always thinks of welfare of everybody, even his enemies. Kamsa is enemy of Krishna, but he's always thinking how to bless him. And the only way to bless a demon is to include him in his plans, because of course he will not come to take blessings. He's a demon. He wants to kill Krishna. So what to do? To include him in his plans, and that's what actually Lord Ram did. Lord Ram included Ravan in his plans. It was because of Ravan that actually Hanumanji got some service. You see, if Ravan would not have kidnapped Sita, Hanuman would not have any service to bring him back, and all this, we know all these things, and going to Lanka and burning Lanka and actually getting some news about Sita and having blessings of Sita also. Because if Ram would have just killed Ravan, as he would have done very easily, there would have been no suspense, no thrill in the past times, and no service for Hanuman. That's all. And all devotees would have got bored of. And all devotees would not get opportunity to serve Ram. So you see the point. So Ram purposefully involved Ravan in his plan, in his whole scheme. He would have killed him otherwise also. That's no problem. But he involved him. There were many reasons for this, but one prime reason for this is he wanted to actually bless Krishna. He wanted to bless him. Ram wanted to bless Ravan. So maybe he comes to his senses. But what happens is God wants to bless everybody, but sometimes when those blessings approach demons, they go waste because they don't accept it. They're not ready to accept it. But anyway, Krishna tries his best. Krishna was Shantidut in Mahabharata. Even on the verge of war of Kurukshetra, he tried his best, and the final try he gave, he went as a messenger of peace. Although Bhima and Pandavas, they were saying no, we don't want to go to that useless person, Duryodhan. Even Yudhishthira Maharaj was saying no, but Krishna told no, let's try last. So that's one quality of Krishna which Akrura is thinking, that Krishna extends his mercy not only to his devotees but also to demons and non-devotees. Of course, devotees can take it, non-devotees do not take it. Sometimes they take, sometimes do not. But Krishna tries his best. To extend his mercy to everybody. And Krishna sometimes extends mercy on his devotees through demons. That's how Krishna works. So, so the next verse, Akrura is thinking, those lotus feet are worshipped by Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods, and by the goddess of fortune, and also by the great sages and Vaishnavas. Upon those lotus feet, the Lord walks about the forest while herding the cows with his companions, and those feet are smeared with kumkum and from Gopi's breast. This seems to be an easy verse, 10:38, but it's a very complex verse because Akrura is thinking another quality of Krishna. Akrura is remembering the quality of Krishna being controlled by love. Although Krishna is great, although his strength of mercy is great, although so many demigods even cannot achieve him. So what's happening? Nevertheless, he is rare to achieve. He is so high beyond our reach, beyond the reach of Brahma, Shiva, but nevertheless, he is controlled by love. By love, he is easily accessible. That's the point which Akrura is now thinking. So if you analyze Akrura's thinking, you see how it goes. Akrura is thinking, I am so sinful, how can I see Krishna? But then he thinks, well, Krishna is so merciful and he can make himself visible to me. But then he thinks, well, if he makes himself visible to me, this means that all my sinful reactions are destroyed. But then he thinks, why my sinful reactions are destroyed? Perhaps he has blessed me. But then he thinks, how he has blessed me? He has blessed me by actually planning for me how would I meet him. And in this plan he's included Kamsa. And he has blessed me through Kamsa. So in that process he has not only blessed me but also blessed Kamsa. He is doing two actions at one time. And now here I am, about to meet Krishna, who is the supreme of the supreme, and that same Krishna is playing in Vrindavan and is also roaming with gopis. Now that's interesting. Akrura, he's shifting from Aishwarya Bhav to Madhurya Bhav. You see what's happening when you are doing devotion. It's not one thought. It's not one thought. There are many thoughts in the mind of a devotee. It's a flow of consciousness. So in English it is said, there's a style of writing English which is called as the stream of consciousness, which was developed by Virginia Woolf. She was a writer, English writer. She actually revolutionized the whole system of English writing, the stream of consciousness. That means when you write a book, when you write some article, just keep on thinking and writing. Actually don't think. Whatever thoughts come, just put it on the paper. You don't need to put full stops, you don't need to add commas, just keep on writing. Wherever you feel to put full stop, otherwise don't do it. That stream of consciousness, that is devotion. Don't put full stop in your mind. Don't think that I have to think like this, like this, like this. It doesn't happen like that. Akrura is spontaneously thinking about so many qualities, just as Ganges water flows towards an ocean and it doesn't stop, and stops only when it meets the ocean. Similarly, the devotee keeps on thinking about so many qualities, but when a devotee thinks, it seems that he is thinking in an erratic way. From whatever comes to his mind, he thinks. But the point is, whatever comes to his mind, that's very systematic and very, very scientific. How does it happen? Because what a devotee thinks in his mind, in his consciousness, that is managed by Krishna, who is the consciousness of consciousness, the super consciousness. So Akrura here is shifting from Aishwarya Bhav to Madhurya Bhav. In Aishwarya Bhav he was thinking about how great Krishna is, but in Madhurya Bhav he is thinking how sweet Krishna is. And that's what a devotee is. That's what Gaudiya Vaishnavism is. If you want to go back to Golok Vrindavan, you not only have to appreciate the Aishwarya or greatness of Lord, the greatness of His mercy, the greatness of His intelligence, we also have to understand the greatness of His sweetness. That's what we have to understand. And even beyond that, not just the greatness of His sweetness, but the sweetness of His sweetness. So we have to know Krishna fully. Janma karma cha me divyam evam vetti tatvatah. Tatvatah means, is the verse from Gita. Tatvatah doesn't mean just fully or completely. Know my birth and activities completely. Tatvatah also means essentially. Tattva means essence. That verse of Gita says, we must try to understand Krishna in his essence. Essence means as he is, to the bottom of his consciousness. As much as we can, of course. We can't understand him fully. We can appreciate him fully. So he says here, that same Krishna, he is actually the same Krishna whose lotus feet are worshipped by demigods. They are now walking on the forest with his cows and his companions. Now what Akrura means to say here? He says that actually this is quite interesting thing because he's thinking, you see the point, if you think properly, he's thinking, see, Brahma, Lakshmi and all these demigods are worshipping Krishna's lotus feet. But these cowherd boys and gopis, they are not worshipping his lotus feet. They are simply enjoying with him. They are just walking with him. They're walking with him means they are not focusing on the lotus feet of Krishna. They are focusing on Krishna. Cowherd boys, his friends, when they're playing with Krishna, they hardly think about lotus feet of Krishna. They're thinking about his jokes, they are thinking about his naughtiness, they are thinking about games. And when gopis are with Krishna, they are hardly thinking about lotus feet of Krishna. They're thinking about Krishna's face, his smiles, his flute, his pranks, and his embraces. The thinking is very different. But this is one side, and another side is demigods who are just focused on the lotus feet of Krishna. Now what's happening? You see how devotees appreciating Krishna? We are not only appreciating Aishwarya, the greatness and worship part, a devotee is also appreciating the sweetness and the not worshipping part. In Vrindavan, nobody worships Krishna. In Vrindavan, everybody simply loves him. That's all. Now, as a devotee, Akrura is saying, if you are on journey to Golok Vrindavan, you must not only think of sweetness or no worship. You have to think of also worship. And also now Akrura has put both in one verse, demigods and Brajvasis both, to show the difference in both of them, to actually show the contrast in both of these bhavas, Aishwarya and Madhurya. And that's what we have to do here. If we don't understand the contrast between Aishwarya and Madhurya, we will not be able to relish the mellows. The mellows of devotion, they arise from contrast. It's always like that, isn't it? Contrast produces interest. Contrast produces excitement. It's always like that. A movie should have both. A movie should be fast and slow both, isn't it? If a movie is fast, if it goes on tuck, 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 you'll become bored after something. The movie is very slow, like arts movie. Again, it'll become slow, bored. A movie should have action and romance, both. And it's good. It's interesting. So contrast produces interest. And Akrura is trying to think of both and trying to put in a proper perspective. There is sweetness in greatness and also greatness in sweetness. You see how Akrura is going in such a depth. Akrura knows Krishna, that means. Actually, he has done his homework. He couldn't meet Krishna in Vrindavan. But while in Mathura, this shows while in Mathura, he was contemplating on Krishna. He was discussing about Krishna. He was meditating on all his qualities and different aspects. He was basically obsessed about Krishna. And because of that obsession today, Krishna has planned for him to see him. So if you want to attain Krishna, you have to be obsessed about him. And how do you know you're obsessed about him? You know this by how much you are trying to know him. And that's why Krishna says, Janma karma chayamitivam evam veti tatvatha. Krishna doesn't say, evam yo veti jnanaha, or evam yo veti, or evam yo veti vijnanaha. He could have used this. If you know me by knowledge and realization, no. He says, evam veti tatvatah. This word is very different. Tatvata is not just knowledge. Tatvata is not just realization. Tatvata is everything about that personality. It's knowledge and realizations, and even more than that. It is what you can realize. It is what you cannot realize also. That is there in Tatvata. It is all about Aishwarya and sweetness, the greatness and sweetness, and the sweetness in greatness, and the greatness in sweetness, and the contrast between sweetness and greatness. And this is what, by the way, is nectar of devotion. If you can't understand what I'm saying, if you think I'm speaking French, this is nectar of devotion, and we must read nectar of devotion. That's what Rupa Goswami is doing. He is trying to give us all the shades of the personality of Krishna. Krishna in his complete form, Krishna in his full form. How much Krishna, I mean, just complete in the sense, complete for us, how much we can grasp his completeness in that sense. Otherwise, Krishna is infinite. So that's what is happening in this. This is a beautiful verse. If you can go and remember this verse, it's a very nice verse. This is 10:38:8, and in this verse, Akrura is talking about Brahma. Yadarchitam Brahma Bhavabhisura, Shiva, Bhava, and also Shriya, Lakshmi, Munibhi Satvatai, all the Munis and all the devotees of Yadukul. That's what he is talking about. He's putting all these devotees in one category. Well, even Lakshmi, by the way. And the other category he keeps Go Charnadi Anucharai Sharad Bane. All his Gopas friends and Gopika Naam Kucha Kunkam Ankitam and Gopis. So he puts them side by side. And then he's amazed to see them. He's amazed to see them. How much difference in their mood is. But both the moods are for Krishna, and they are having different depths and different dimensions. And just by meditating on these two moods, Akrura is becoming unconscious. That's what is happening. We see Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Prabhu becomes unconscious so many times. Why? Now, and Krishna Goswami explains in Antya-lila, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has become unconscious because he can't handle these concepts. Because these concepts are so far and so different, but yet both of them are accepted by Krishna and they are related to Krishna. The concept of worship, the concept of greatness, on one hand, and the concept of sweetness and the concept of love on the other hand, and both are nice. We do both of them. But both are so overwhelming and so different that a consciousness cannot understand and comprehend it, and it becomes unconscious. That's what actually Chaitanya Charitamrita says. Mahaprabhu says to Raman, Raman, you see, my eyes are being attracted towards Krishna in one direction. And in another direction, my ears are getting attracted to flutes of Krishna. And yet in another direction, my nose is getting attracted towards smell of the body of Krishna. And yet in another direction, my sense of touch is being attracted towards the softness of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And so my chariot, the horses of my chariot, senses are related to the horses in analogy. So horses are running in different directions, and I am the passenger, and I don't know what to do. I am so afraid, and therefore I become unconscious. So you see the point. So if you read Antya-lila last chapter, there is Shikshashtakam, and if you read the commentaries, It is said why a devotee becomes unconscious when he's thinking of Krishna, when he's really meditating on Krishna, just like a Akrura, when he's really approaching his goal of Golok Vrindavan. Why he becomes unconscious? Because he cannot handle these concepts. It is overwhelming, it is contradictory, and a devotee he loses his unconsciousness, and it is due to fear. It's not just due to love. It's not due to contradictions in love and qualities of God. It is due to fear that I cannot comprehend. Is infinity. It is infinite. So many shades about personality of Krishna, and because of this fear and greed and appreciation of qualities and contradictions, there's so many things. And if you run so many programs on a computer, it will hang. Even if like that, it will hang. So that's what Akrura is happening with him. If you want to go back to Golok Vrindavan, you have to be obsessed. You have to fill yourself with Krishna. That's what Prabhupada says. You have to fill yourself with Krishna. That's what Bhagavatam says. Sevatam Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. And that basically, a journey to Golok Vrindavan is an internal journey, not more external. It's not more of external journey. It's more of internal journey. And that everybody has to travel, and he has to see how much he has filled himself with Krishna, and not just with general qualities, but with such a specific details in how Krishna Akrura is thinking. Actually, if you read these prayers, and if you read the commentaries, if you read Prabhupada's purpose later, you will understand how Prabhupada is mentioning. Prabhupada in this whole prayers, he's using many words. He's using the word irony. He's using the word details. He's using the word specific qualities. Even acharyas are using, and this shows that a devotee on journey to Golok Vrindavan, I mean to say, you have to read Krishna book thousands of times. That's basically, if you come to that practical thing, you have to got to read about Krishna day after day, and like weeks after weeks, and with some good devotees, so that they bring out different qualities of God, and that will satisfy soul. There's no other process which can satisfy soul. If you're not satisfied by walking on this path, we will never even keep on walking on this path. We'll become unsatisfied. We'll never become attracted towards Krishna. And that is basically, Vedanta Sutra is that, philosophy is that, scriptures are that. All these kind of things, all these kind of devotees, Uddhava, Akrura, any devotee in Bhagavatam, their whole endeavor is to develop our interest in Krishna. And that is why, so I was personally thinking there is something called as pure devotion. And I was thinking, within pure devotion, there is something called as pure Krishna consciousness. Now, what I mean by pure Krishna consciousness, that I was thinking that within pure devotion also, we might not be focusing on pure Krishna consciousness. Pure Krishna consciousness is just to deal with form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. That's it, nothing more than that. And just focus on that, and nothing else. And that is pure Krishna consciousness. Whatever we are doing in Krishna consciousness, if it is focused on knowing Krishna, we have actually done justification to whatever we are doing. If we cannot know him, and if we cannot actually become obsessed by his qualities and his name and form, it's a defeat. Whatever we do in Krishna consciousness, it doesn't serve any purpose. And that's what next instruction Rupa Goswami writes. 24 hours, Rupa Goswami writes, a devotee should relish the pastimes and qualities of Krishna. 24 hours. That's how he should spend his day. Rupa Goswami says this. That's how he should spend his day. So, of course, for that you need association of devotees who can keep up your interest, who can enthuse you. Yes, this is Krishna, this is his devotees, and keep on discussing. But you can do as well yourself if you keep on reading Bhagavatam. That's what Akrura is doing. And I think I'll just finish here in this last verse, 10:38-9, and I'll continue tomorrow. Akrura says, 10:38-9, surely I shall see the face of Lord Mukunda, since the deer are now walking past me on my right. That face framed by his curly hairs is beautified by his attractive cheeks and nose, and his smiling glances and his reddish lotus eyes. You see the point? Akrura has meditated on the lotus feet of Krishna. He has meditated on worshipping Krishna. He has meditated on greatness of Krishna. He has also meditated on the sweetness of Krishna and on the love of Krishna. He has done that. But now here, because he has meditated in such a great extent and such a depth, here he has agreed to see Krishna. And this is called as actually pure Krishna consciousness. The difference between purity and pure. This is pure Krishna consciousness. Pure Krishna consciousness, I want to see his hairs, I want to see his cheeks, I want to see his smiling glances. That's pure. In fact, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is one indication what is pure Krishna consciousness. This Vallabhacharya, he comes and meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and actually he is asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so he goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he says, you know what? I know the meaning of the word Krishna. You read this? I know the meaning of the word Krishna. So Mahaprabhu says, okay, well, tell me. So then he gives 4 to 5 different meanings. So he says, Krishna, it means all attractive, for example. Or Krishna means attractive, and Na means give liberation. So he attracts and then liberates us all from sinful reaction. It keeps on going. And Mahaprabhu is listening, and then Mahaprabhu says, see, you know what? I am a fool. I don't know any meaning of this kind. I simply know that Krishna is a son of Nanda. Mm-hmm. And it's a very deep thing. That is actually pure Krishna consciousness. What Vallabhacharya is saying, that is purity in Krishna consciousness, because he's thinking about Krishna without any mixture of jnana and karma and desires. That's okay. But what Mahaprabhu is answering, that is pure Krishna consciousness. Just focus on the personality Krishna. It is not focused on your intellectual ramifications, the exercises of the meaning of this word. It's not. It's just directed towards the person. That's what Akrura is doing now here. Yeah, it's a pure. Akrura is. You see, if you want to go back to Golok Vrindavan, Akrura is shifting now from purity to pure Krishna consciousness. He's saying, I shall see the face of Lord Mukunda. I shall see his curly hairs, I shall see his attractive cheeks, his nose, his smiling glances, his lotus eyes. And that's where we have to go if we want to approach Golok Vrindavan. We have to be there on this platform. And this platform doesn't come, as I told you, Akrura's prayers are very systematic and scientific. Even though he's praying spontaneously, he's praying like a madman, but yet because these prayers are inspired by Krishna in his consciousness, it's very scientific and very systematic. So to come to this level of pure Krishna consciousness, you have to spend your life in purity of Krishna consciousness. Or in other words, you have to spend your time in understanding Krishna and his qualities and pastimes and all his shades. And then one day you will also say, for me, the meaning of Krishna is that he is son of Nand Baba, and I don't know any other way. That's all. Mm-hmm. Finish. That time you will enjoy Krishna consciousness. That's the point where you will start enjoying this journey. Before this, you will experience peace and satisfaction, some kind of bliss which might come and go. But when you attain this platform of pure Krishna consciousness, you will start enjoying. You will start really enjoying, and that is technically called as rasa. At this point, you will get the transcendental mellows, and you approach this level of pure Krishna consciousness. And then the journey becomes very easy. And then Akrura continues, and I'm going to discuss tomorrow what, I mean to say, journey is almost ended because now he's come to pure Krishna consciousness. But there are many other things to complete the journey. On the final stroke, there are many other things which Akrura is going to teach us by his prayers and his consciousness, and we'll discuss about this tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions, anything? And then I'm going to end.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranams. Very beautiful class, Prabhuji. So thought-provoking. So my question is, so Akrura was kind of, yesterday you explained how he was forced by Krishna to come, not in a wrong sense, but to come and take him to Mathura so that he can, fulfill what he has come down for here. And he was doing his service to Krishna, but at the same time, that was an offense to gopis, and because of that, he had to be involved in that Shamantaka jewel pastime. So how, this was totally unintentional, and it was his service to the Lord, but he can't help offending the pure devotees, gopis, and then he had to take the curse. It's so bewildering, Prabhu. Can you explain a little more on that?
Well, Akrura, he's engaged in service of God and he's doing some pastime, but nevertheless he's involved in some offenses. It seems funny because I don't know why. If Akrura is under control of Krishna, why Krishna has arranged for him to do offenses? Now that's one thing. Well, I will tell you something else which might be shocking, but it's not related to this. It's not related to Akrura, by the way. It's something else, but on the same topic of why Krishna sometimes plans that his devotees do offenses. Now that's Krishna. You can't understand Krishna. You can't understand Krishna. You see, if you think you understood Krishna, it's like foolishness. So Madhvacharya in his commentary, he writes, not to this pastime, but it's a different topic, but related to the theme of the topic, the concept of the topic, sorry. And Madhvacharya says sometimes Krishna arranges that his devotees does offenses. Why is that? Why Krishna is mad or what? Krishna is not mad. Sometimes what happens is, sometimes when he sees that a devotee is practicing Krishna consciousness, and he sees that if he practices more of Krishna consciousness, then he'll become proud. And becoming proud, he will do some grave offense by which he will actually go to hell. So he might plan for the devotee to commit some minor offense before he commits some disaster. And when he commits that, when he arranges that the devotee commits that offense, of course, by that offense, his devotion will go down. Definitely. And when it goes down, he'll become sad. And then he will consult some devotees, and he will be saved from that disaster. You see how it goes? It goes like this. So in other words, to save him from a big accident, he involves him in a small accident. That's all he does. Sometimes he does that. Madhvacharya also says, sometimes Krishna, if he thinks he'll become proud, Krishna arranges for him to do offenses. Sometimes, if Krishna thinks he has too many, actually this is another thing. If he thinks a devotee has too many pious credits and too much strength to do devotion, he has devotees trying so much, but his adhikar is not to that platform. He will make him do offenses to slow his devotion, because he doesn't want him to go very fast. If he goes fast, he will not be able to handle it. Krishna knows what is happening. So you see, that's anyway Madhvacharya's take on that concept. It's difficult to understand what he's doing. It's impossible, actually. I mean to say it's impossible to understand anything about Krishna. Whatever we are trying to understand Krishna, that's just a glimpse. And then also we cannot say for surely we have understood him. So that is why many scriptures says don't try to understand, but try to appreciate him.
Yeah.
But the point in appreciation is not that we don't understand him. It's we have to understand that we can understand him fully. But and that's the fact, and that's how we appreciate him. That's how it goes. So that's all. But for Akrura, it's not this thing. Akrura, Krishna made him do offenses. Exactly, we don't know why, because no commentator comments clearly on this. But at least one point which is commented upon is Krishna arranges for him to do pastimes, so that do offenses, so that he falls in the same category as a sadhaka who is traveling on the journey of to Goloka. So I was explaining there at that time. He wants the character of Akrura to resonate with us. You see, if you see a movie, one character you think, oh, actually he's like me. Sometimes you think, oh, his life is like my life, and you start resonating with him. And when you resonate with that person, then you start learning from him. So Krishna purposefully made him do offenses also, and then he made him do service, and we can exactly resonate with him now. We are also trying to go to Vrindavan. We are doing service. We are doing sadhana, but at the same time, we are doing offenses. So this is a person in entire Bhagavatam who is there and who is leading a life like us. So this is a person whom we can learn. And that's one reason that Krishna did plant all these things. And that is why this lecture, Journey to Golok Vrindavan, and the lecture includes Akrura. It doesn't include Gopi, it doesn't include anybody. It includes Akrura of all the characters in Srimad Bhagavatam. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's funny, it's funny how Krishna works.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dana Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I have one question. Prabhu, you were telling, the whatever we practice in Krishna consciousness means it's impossible to approach Krishna. That ocean of mercy is there compared to what we do, that is insignificant. My question is Krishna has already planned how we're going to practice? Means otherwise he has how we get that soul, get the mercy, because what is the how we gonna get mercy, or how we gonna get that kind of intensity to love Krishna? Is Krishna's already
that's already what?
Already he has a plan to that soul. He is coming this lifetime means he is coming towards me.
No. Krishna doesn't have already. Krishna has a plan. Krishna has a plan, but then according to the sincerity of a devotee, he keeps on refining his plans. It's not a fixed plan, because devotion is from both ways. He is doing something for us, and we are also doing something for him. So things keep on changing. The plan keeps on changing according to our free will, according to our desires in Krishna consciousness, according to our association, according to what we do. And that's the role of effort here. You see, mercy is exhibited in form of his plan, and then what our efforts are doing. Our efforts are not actually sufficient to take us back to him. But our efforts make Krishna or help Krishna to refine his plans. That's what it is doing. If we put good efforts, Krishna will refine his plans and make his plans more precise, because we are doing good efforts. And so we are reading, we are developing intelligence, we are developing discrimination, we know the philosophy. So then Krishna can refine and precise the plan, because then we'll not do mistake. We'll understand what is his plan and we'll walk through. So, but if we're not putting efforts, Krishna might make a plan which is very general and very broad, because the devotee will not be able to understand the plan. So he makes it very broad and very loose, it might take time, but then he will be able to walk on it. You see the point? It goes like that. So that's how it's not a fixed plan. Krishna changes, we change, then he change, then we change, and that is love all about, by the way. Love all about. People love each other, they meet each other, and the more they stay with each other, the more they change over time. Their love changes over time. Things change, and that is this. That's the answer for your question. It is planned, but the planning is but that is a dynamic plan, by the way. If that's the word, it's a dynamic plan, and the dynamicity of that plan depends on our efforts and on our understanding of Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna will then take us back to Godhead. That's all. It's both ways. It's not just one way. Not just one way.
Okay.
It goes like that.
Yeah. It means you will see our effort also every time, how we are eager to.
Of course.
Yes.
Our efforts will help him to actually modulate his mercy. To increase or decrease his mercy, or whatever he decides, it will help him. It will help him to see what to do with us next moment, and the next moment, and refine his planning. It's almost like parents, Parents have a plan for child. When he grows up, I'll make him a doctor. So I'll put him in this school and that university. He has some plan, but then as the child grows, the parents have to redefine their plans and make the plans more precise and more good according to the psychology of the child, according to how the child can take those plans and how much happy he is following those plans. That's how Krishna does. It's fixed and it's not fixed, both. It's predictable and it's not predictable, both. He sees our efforts.
Yes, Prabhu. Another question for us, like we are practicing a sadhana, it's pure consciousness. You were telling even pure Krishna consciousness, pure devotional service.
Mm-hmm.
India also you were telling pure Krishna consciousness. It's very far for us, It's difficult to even remember Krishna every whole day. And for us, Prabhu, this is the recommendation is whatever is in scripture, like you are telling. I have one question in that regarding Nectar of Devotion also. While reading Nectar of Devotion till the 19th chapter is for sadhana bhakta, means how we can practice. But can we go after that? I think it's kind of to understand Krishna in that level. Maybe we may.
No. Actually, I understand your point. By the way, it is Srila Prabhupada never said that you should not read after 19 chapters. He never said. If anybody can give me that evidence, that's well and good. He never said. There's no statement of Prabhupada you should not read after 19 chapter. That is there in our institution. This is there, and of course, it is true that till 19 chapters it's all sadhana, bhakti and rules and regulations. After 19 chapter, it's talking about mellows and this and that rasas. It is true, but it is not true that we cannot proceed after 19 chapters. It's not for us. If it is not for us, then why did Rupa Goswami write? And why did Prabhupada translate? That's one thing. We can always argue. Rupa Goswami has written many books, he's written many books, and all those books, we are not qualified to read them. Yeah, they are high. But then the books which Prabhupada translated, we got to read them because Prabhupada knew it is not high. That is why he translated. Otherwise, Prabhupada wouldn't have translated. Prabhupada didn't translate Lalit Madhav and whatever, like Govind Leela Amrit. He knew it is too high to be not qualified. He simply didn't translate. That's all. He left it. But Nectar of Devotion he did, and Prabhupada said you should read entire Nectar of Devotion as a law book. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his only instruction to Prabhupada was to read Nectar of Devotion as a life and soul. Bhakti Siddhanta said to Prabhupada, this is the book you have to focus on and read as many times as you can. So without reading Nectar of Devotion entirely, we will not be able to understand what I'm talking today. And we will never be able to understand what Akrura is praying, sweetness and greatness. And we will not be able to walk on that Golok to Vrindavan. In fact, first 19 chapters are there to understand the next proceeding chapters after 20th chapter. So reading 19 chapters and not proceeding further, it's almost like you've got the training how to fight, but you're not going to the battlefield. It's like crazy. Then why do you train yourself? Krishna consciousness is not all about following rules and regulations, and that's it. That is Niyamagra. The purpose of following rules and regulations, the purpose of understanding philosophy is to understand love. Otherwise, what's the purpose? Otherwise, we say, then what's the point of saying Krishna Prem Pumartoman? Our goal is love. You have to understand love. Of course, we have to understand love in a particular fashion and not in a way, so not in a Sahaja and sentimental way. And if we read Prabhupada books, we are safe because Prabhupada have translated those books in that manner that we can understand love, and at the same time we are right on the track. We don't go beyond our limitations, and we are reading and meditating something on which we are not qualified. It's not that. Prabhupada didn't translate Ujjwal Leelamani. Ujjwal Leelamani is part 2 of Nectar of Devotion, by the way. It's part 2. And that is very deep, and we are not qualified to read that because in that, Rupa Goswami discusses Madhurya Bhav. We are not qualified. Prabhupada didn't translate. That's all. Prabhupada left it. And Prabhupada translated Nectar of Devotion. So my request is please read Nectar of Devotion after 19 chapter. Otherwise, there's no point of reading first 19 chapters. That's a waste of time. We don't understand the purpose of what we are doing and why we are doing Our hearts will become very dry. We are just talking about rules, regulations, and that. And this is for devotees like us who have been practicing devotion since 6, 7, 8 years. It is not maybe for a person who has just joined temple for a month or so. For him, okay, fine, first 19 chapters. For a month, for an year, fine for him. But not for devotees who spend their life 6, 7 years. Then what's the point? So please read after 19 chapters. From today, start reading. Otherwise, I don't know how anybody can continue to do devotion in a right frame of mind if they don't read Nectar of Devotion entirely. It's almost impossible. We'll not be able to appreciate any subtlety about sweetness and greatness and the love of Krishna. It's impossible to do that. So that's how it goes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I stopped there and again started from the beginning, but I was confused because that is the kind of symptom when you are in the higher stage in devotional service, and then I'm not in that stage. I was a little bit. I was thinking in that way, but I'll read, Prabhu, because by your mercy, maybe we can go deep. And how we take that things, Prabhu, as a sadhana about that means I try to practice devotional service, try to remember Krishna, and how we take in that chapter, higher level chapter, because we are actually in one sense it's totally is very high level to maybe we make offense. We may make the offense.
No offense. You forget offense. The answer is, if you read about Krishna and Nectar of Devotion and think about all these things which I am telling and meditate upon them, on its qualities and sweetness, automatically your heart will become soft. And then in a soft heart, offenses cannot stay. So rather than thinking of offenses, let's offenses which actually stick in a hard heart, which is very hard now, like a stone. And if the heart is hard, it will stick there. But if a heart is like soft, like a liquid, it will not stick. It will come and it will simply flow away. So that's a good thing. So if we make a heart soft, that Hridaya Semar Sneh, Rupa Goswami says, Krishna says, when you meditate on me, on my qualities, and on my contradictions, on my sweetness, on my contrast, your heart will melt, isn't it? And in that soft heart, offenses cannot stay. So that's the method how to overcome offenses. So that's why I'm saying, that's why I took this topic, Journey to Back to Golok Vrindavan, to actually inspire devotees to start reading about Krishna and meditating upon him and his qualities and discussing about him within devotees. Because devotees don't do that. I have not seen devotees doing that. Of course, Bible devotees do that if they don't read after 19th chapter. There's nothing to discuss. If there's nothing to see, then nothing to read. Then most of the devotees will always be discussing about rules and regulations and this and that and that. That's required, but that's not the only thing we are here for. We are here for Krishna. So automatically you'll surpass offenses if that is done. So no need to think much about that. That's
yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's a very, very helpful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam, Shri Prabhupada. Prabhuji, is there any lecture series on further lecture of Nectar of Devotion?
Yeah. I have done many lectures on Nectar of Devotion. So you can visit my website, puredevotionalservice.com. This is puredevotionalservice.com. So it is together. There's no gap. puredevotionalservice.com. And if you go there are so many lectures on Nectar of Devotion. After chapter 20, I've discussed about qualities of Krishna, and they're so nice things, and you can hear them. That's all. So that I can advise you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, and wonderful class. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Can we end the call here now?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I don't know. Do you have? Do you need to go? Because I do have a few questions. Otherwise, I can hold it till tomorrow if you prefer.
Yeah, Mataji, can we have it tomorrow, Mataji? If you don't.
Okay.
If it is
okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So thank you to all of the devotees. So I have to go somewhere, so I'm sorry. So tomorrow I can take all those questions and we can discuss and we can share our thoughts. That is nice. Thank you very much to all devotees for attending this call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.